Some people love the idea of order until order shows up wearing a badge and holding a list. And then, of course, the tone changes pretty quick. I want you to watch what happens when the same rules that sounded good in theory start applying to real names, real cars, and real living rooms. First voice you need to hear is the one that didn't ask for permission to say it.
And she's gonna say, and then she's gonna say, ICE is coming on me. Look at her, look at her.
And I love Donald Trump.
Oh, yes. You do?
Yes, I do.
I feel bad for you.
Yes, I do.
I feel bad for you.
So you can get the fuck out my country.
You country?
Go back to where your flag is.
You came from Africa.
Okay. No, baby, I'm not African.
Yeah, you was just born here, but you're not American. You gonna call ICE on me?
Please.
Huh? This is gonna go viral. Yeah. You're gonna be famous.
Please.
You're gonna be famous.
Okay, check this out, because I'm gonna be famous.
Yeah, come on.
Get the fuck out my country. We tired of you motherfucking rude ass motherfuckers. If you came here and you was nice, it'll be a different thing.
Okay.
But you a bitch like you.
Okay.
So that's why we want you to fuck go.
Okay.
You little bitty motherfucker.
Yeah.
You mad because the little bitty.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Give me some.
Yeah, no, you can't have none of this. Yeah, this deserves better than.
Yeah, just like you Chinese, right?
I'm not Chinese.
Well, just like I'm not.
Okay, so if I'm Chinese, you're gonna call ICE on me.
Okay, yeah, ICE, bitch.
One of the racist people. Look at her. Look at her face.
Yeah, I am racist.
Look at her face, and then she's gonna say, and.
No, I don't agree with racism at all. All right, not at all. But she didn't soften it. Well, that's not, but I agree here either. That but wasn't for that. But I'm also going to say, in relation to the video, she didn't soften her message and how she felt. She didn't package it for anybody's comfort. She said she loves Trump and then told him straight, hey, bro, leave. Now, whether you disagree or agree, that's not the point. That kind of clarity is rare because most people have been trained to apologize for noticing the obvious. Notice how the same crowd that celebrates speaks your truth suddenly needs a mute button when truth comes from a black woman who isn't reading a script. And again, I'll say that some things I don't agree with in the approach of a script, but that's that. Now, I want you to watch what happens when the U.S. citizen steps into an active enforcement scene thinking her paperwork makes her untouchable.
Y'all do something to me, I'm going to sue all of y'all. This is my car. I had got a call from one of my brother-in-law's wives. She called me and she was like, I think they got them. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, go inside with her drive. She sent me the video that somebody sent. I got there. I parked the car and I was like, bro, it is them. I didn't go to them, assaulted them, say anything to them. I have it all on record. Yes, and this is my husband's car. This is my husband's car. Yes, this is my car. No. I gave them ID. They still put me in the car. And I was like, you guys need to let me go because you guys have no right to take me in. You guys have my social security and my wallet, my ID. The black woman, she's saying I felt a threat. How am I a threat to you? You're about the same height as me. You have, 10 people with you against me and a 4-year-old? The ones over there, they were laughing on face. I'm like, what are you laughing at? You guys are going to regret taking me in because I am a U.S. citizen. Everybody's life's in danger. They're disgusting.
Okay, so she showed up with a child and her documents after hearing the husband had been taken. I still detained her for interfering. That's the part a lot of people are going to skip over when they hear that video or see that video, rather. Having the right papers don't give you the right to insert yourself into an operation already in progress. And of course, the Democrats, the left, they're going to call it cruelty. What it actually is the difference between citizenship and immunity. Those two things are not the same. They're not. This next one is the part where the support for enforcement meets the personal cost.
This is where deportations will hit home for some people. So this guy is a baby boomer. I'm just giving you guys his generation. He has now turned on Trump and the Republican Party because his young fiance, who had her visa status expire and was in the country unlawfully, ended up getting deported. And so here's what he had to say about that.
I'm saying that they are picking up law-abiding citizens. They're destroying families, jobs.
John Gannon is a 75-year-old businessman and lifelong Republican who supported President Trump in 2024.
I wouldn't do that again. Not after this fiasco.
His fiancée, 45-year-old Venezuelan immigrant Yasmin Suarez Reyes, was detained by ICE at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston in late July.
8 ICE agents swarmed Jasmine and detained her, didn't tell us why, and rustled her off into a car.
When you saw that unfold, what went through your mind?
Well, I was just in total disbelief.
According to her immigration lawyer, Suarez Reyes came to the U.S. legally in 2023 and later applied for asylum, a case that is still ongoing. But her underlying permission to be in the U.S. has lapsed.
Okay, I think you guys know exactly what he meant by that last statement, meaning she's been in the country unlawfully since 2023. And when President Trump was sworn in, he had to know he was serious. Now, they do prioritize the worst of the worst. The numbers show that, by the way. But they also are prioritizing a mass deportation operation that 77 million people voted for. I'm not too sure what the confusion is. I understand the frustration. I mean, but this is just my own personal opinion. As the leader of the household in your relationship, you think you would have held her accountable on making sure her documents were in order. So for that reason, I'm going to give him a D because he should have protected her from that by ensuring that she was in compliance.
I'm being honest, that's the highest grade I've ever heard him give. You know, he voted for the policy. He talked about the policy. Then the policy reached his own household, and suddenly he felt betrayed. You know, that's not a plot twist there, you know. That's what happens when you treat the law like a tool that only works on other people's problems. The same Democrats who spent years screaming about family separation are quiet when the separation involves someone who skipped the line for 2 decades. Selective outrage is still outrage. It just doesn't travel as far. Visuals hit different. I want you to watch this next one without the usual soundtrack of excuses.
May I ask him a question?
Make sure to tell him to let us know if he needs sanctuary. Try to find a place for him.
Okay. So let me give y'all some context. Obviously, TPS ended, and a grown man is on the ground crying while they put an ankle monitor on him. Like I said, temporary protected status was never supposed to be permanent. When the protection ends, the next step is not optional. Tears are human, so, you know, so is the fact that a country has the right to decide who stays and who doesn't. So the people who spend years calling any enforcement racist never had a plan for what happens when a temporary runs out. They only got the next talking point. And of course, somebody always thinks they can put hands on the process itself. So she basically doing it for theaters. You seen how she handed her the camera? Okay, so she's lucky because she walked up mid arrest and tried to shove the agents. I was looking, handing the camera and everything. Got a whole clip for Facebook. That's not a protest right there, man. That's interference with a federal operation. And notice how fast the defund energy turns into protect the agent energy when a person being arrested is the one the camera's like. You know, the agents kept working. The system didn't stop for her feelings. That's the part that actually keeps the country standing. All right, last one. 3 years later.
There is no warrant. He's zero criminal history. There is no warrant for his arrest, even though that is what they say. Eduardo has been in the U.S. about 23 years. We met salsa dancing. He has a huge network of friends and family here. He has his own construction company. He spends his days teaching salsa or dancing or remodeling people's homes. We've come together later in life. I have 3 children to whom he was a beloved stepfather. The next thing you know, your loved one is across the country in El Paso. He was in a room for 10 hours and he was surrounded by 20 ICE agents who are pressuring him to sign a voluntary deportation. They physically pushed him and they threatened to assault him if he did not sign the document. This is not normal, and we can't let it become normal by ignoring it and wishing it goes away, as much as we don't like it. You do have to take a stand, because I think the more silent we are, it becomes a normal way we do things. This is not normal.
Okay. 23 years in the country. He owns a business, married later in life. And now the consequences have arrived. She wants sympathy for the disruption, but the disruption was always available the entire time. The only thing that changed is that the delay finally ended. Framing decades of unbroken law breaking as a sudden tragedy is how the left keeps the emotional high ground while the actual rules stay optional for the people they prefer. A nation that only enforces the law when it is convenient stops being a nation of laws and becomes a nation of preferences. Preferences change with the news cycle. Laws are supposed to outlast the news cycle. Every one of these clips is someone discovering that the same standard they cheer for still applies when the name on the file is closer to home. That discovery is uncomfortable. It's also the only way any of this stays fair. You cannot demand order in public and exemptions in private, while eventually watching the whole thing collapse under its own contradictions. The people who built their politics on permanent, exemptions. I was going to say exceptions. Exemptions are the same thing, right? Are the same ones shocked when, exceptions get closed. That shock is not evidence the system failed. It's evidence the system finally moved. So I want you to leave the word standard in the comments if you caught the difference between supporting the rule and living under it. And I also want to leave you with, they sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. Hosea 8:7. Be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.